Welcome back. This Wednesday also has some local relevance with KU sending 2 players to the draft in guard Devon Dotson and center Udoka Azubuike. With Dotson likely to be picked in the late first, early second round, NBC Sports Philadelphia published an article earlier this week calling for the Philadelphia 76ers to draft the sophomore guard. The 76ers currently have the number 21, 34, 36, 48, and 59 overall picks in the draft. I'm joined by Blake Sevenbergen and Maya Peterson to debate whether or not the 76ers are the right fit for Devon Dotson.
Thank you, Jacob. As you said, NBC Sports Philadelphia published an article talking about the KU Jayhawk, Devon Dotson. Their biggest points were he's one of the fastest that is in this draft. He's very versatile, but there were some weaknesses as well. He also is not really good with facilitating the ball. He is a shoot-first type of guy. But does this make him a great fit for the 76ers?
I would entirely disagree with him being a good fit for the Sixers. They've talked about moving on from Ben Simmons, but Ben Simmons is the point guard that the Sixers need. While he can't shoot the basketball to save his life at all, ever probably, Ben Simmons can facilitate, he can drive, he can dish to Joel Embiid, and that's what makes him a good point guard for that team. And I think Dot would just get stuck behind him on that team, and which is why I think that the Oklahoma City Thunder would be a better fit for Devon Dotson than the Philadelphia 76ers. The Thunder just traded away point guard Chris Paul. They're looking to ship off Dennis Schroeder this week, and then their trade with Chris Paul, they got Ricky Rubio, who is aging and could be a good mentor for Devon Dotson in the league.
All right, so big trade like you said. But they also got Jalen Lecque and Kelly Oubre. Those are big stars. A lot of people haven't seen the big potential that Jalen Lecque has. He came up in the Suns. They didn't use him as much because they had D-Book. But this OKC Thunder is going to need Jalen Lecque. And I don't think that Dotson will be able to go in and be effective with the young stars that they're going to try to make this OKC team. Everyone is saying in the next year, 2 years, the Thunder will be a top contending team, and Dotson won't be able to hold on for that long. So I'm going with Utah Jazz. You have Donovan Mitchell, which everyone's going to say he's going to have to learn a lot, but his contract is going to be up in a year, which is going to make room for Dotson. And also, let's look at this. Donovan Mitchell, 2018, amazing pick for the Utah Jazz. He came in 6'3". They said he was great for fast breaks. He was going to be a good leader, but he was lacking in size. And once again, he was a score-first option. Who does that sound like to you?
Sounds a lot like
Devon Dotson. He's going to learn a lot being behind Donovan Mitchell. He's going to be a potential starter in the next year, maybe 2 years. But coming off the bench after Donovan Mitchell is not terrible. That's actually pretty good.
See, my problem with that for Devon Dotson coming off behind Donovan Mitchell is Mike Conley's in Utah too.
Okay, yeah.
And Donovan Mitchell, although he is on his last year of his contract, they're the same build, which I think could be a struggle for them to find out if they could play together.
Okay.
And I think the Utah Jazz want to run with Donovan Mitchell in the long haul, and that's why I think they won't draft Dot, just because of the fact that they think Donovan Mitchell is their franchise point guard and he's going to be there for a long time.
Okay.
Another team, however, that I think Devon could be a good fit for is the New York Knicks. The Knicks are a really young team. They don't have a ton of veterans, and they might as well draft a young point guard with a lot of upside. Dotson had one of the best combines in history. 40.5-inch vertical, one of the fastest three-quarter sprints ever. He's a shooter. He can score. Him and R.J. Barrett, I think, could be a deadly combination.
Okay.
And with a young team, young coaching staff, I think he could be a starter almost immediately for the Knicks.
Okay, well, what pick do the Knicks have?
The Knicks are, I believe, the 8th pick in the second round, which is the best fit for Dot there.
That's interesting. So they are looking for a franchise point guard, like you said. And Dotson, we know, has a lot of potential, but is he going to be able to come into the league and be an amazing leader off the back? I think that's a lot of pressure on him, and I don't think he will be able to do that effectively with the Knicks. Now, I'm about to give you the most elite pick for Dotson, and we've already talked about this a little bit. The Spurs. They're known for having a young team. Popovich is very similar to Coach Bill Self. And look at this. They get the 11th pick in the first round, which is going to go to a combo forward, Saddiq Bey. obviously. And then they're going to look for an amazing point guard that is going to be able to transform his game from score first to being able to look for someone who's close to a Marcus Garrett build, DeJounte Murray, and they have other great picks around him. Dotson will go in. He's going to learn the plays. He's going to learn how to be that big leader we need on this team. The Spurs are going to start to kind of look for your Kawhi Leonard, Tim Duncan, Ginobili look. Dotson, I think the Spurs is the best pick for him. If the Spurs are looking at this and watching, they know who to pick.
Yeah, and I think we can both agree that regardless, wherever Dot ends up, he's going to be a great fit. You know, he's good young talent. He's a good shooter. And I think with that, I mean, he'll succeed anywhere in the league.
Yes, and we're looking forward to seeing what he can do in this league, whether that is with the Spurs, Knicks, Utah Jazz, or the original pick to the 76ers. But with all that being said, let's send it right back to Jacob.
Thank you, guys. We'll send it to commercial, and we'll be right back.